If you're considering a move to Chattanooga and you're a higher earning professional, a founder, or maybe an executive, you need to understand one thing up front. Chattanooga is not just one housing market. Where you choose to buy a home can dramatically affect your taxes, your commute, your lifestyle, and even your long-term flexibility. In this video, I'm going to break down 5 of the areas here in Chattanooga that executives consistently choose. And more importantly, we'll dive into why they make those choices so that you can make a more informed decision and not an emotional one. I think that most relocations go wrong when people ask the wrong questions. For example, a lot of people will come into a relocation saying, where can I get the nicest house for my money? The better overarching question to ask is, what problem am I trying to solve with this move? And here are a couple of the common things. Is it about tax efficiency? Is it about commute predictability? Is privacy the primary problem you're solving for? Is it the ease of transition, or are you looking for long-term optionality? So let's keep these in mind as we're discussing the areas in the rest of the video. The very first area we're going to talk about is Lookout Mountain. Right off the bat, Lookout Mountain is one of the most misunderstood areas in Chattanooga, and it's one of the places where mistakes can cost you the most financially. Physically, Lookout Mountain is one mountain. Financially, it can be 2 completely different outcomes. The Tennessee side of Lookout Mountain sits in a 0 income tax state, whereas the Georgia side does not. For a high earner, this can mean hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax savings over the years, even though the streets and the houses might look very similar. A couple of the reasons that people choose to live on Lookout Mountain, well, first of all, it is so beautiful up there. You've got instant access to nature. There are tons of trails and places to go walk and explore, and it is such a gorgeous place to go visit. Another reason is that it's a chance to own a piece of history. There are historic homes up on Lookout Mountain, many of which have been meticulously cared for and revitalized, especially the homes along the east and west brows of the mountain. The homes along the east and west brows of the mountains have been meticulously cared for over the years. When you buy on Lookout Mountain, you're buying into a legacy, a history, and a culture that is very rich and has a lot of depth to it. When people purchase on the Tennessee side, they're typically looking for those tax breaks. When they purchase on the Georgia side, there are a few situations where it makes sense to purchase on the Georgia side. For example, if you're employed by a Georgia employer, then it would make sense just to purchase on the Georgia side as well. Or if you're retired, then there are several tax breaks in Georgia that work out well for retirees. And the difference between living on the Tennessee side and the Georgia side could be negligible. If you really do want to dive into the numbers though, I would suggest you contact a tax professional and dig into that. The bottom line with Lookout Mountain though, I would say that the state line is probably a little bit more important than the exact home. This is an ad. If you don't need help finding a home in Chattanooga, skip this part of the video. But if you are looking for help, that is exactly what I'm here for. Over the past few years, I've helped several people move to the Chattanooga, Tennessee area, and we've got the 5-star reviews to back it up. So if you're thinking about making the move to Chattanooga, feel free to book a free relocation call with me by scanning the QR code on screen, or click the link in the description below to get in contact with me. It takes less than a minute to sign up, and on the call, we'll go over your priorities and we'll figure out what areas could be the best fit for you. So book your relocation call now, and I look forward to meeting you. The next suburb or area that's attracting executives and founders is Signal Mountain. Now, Signal Mountain tends to appeal to the people that are looking for a bit more space and a bit more land, and maybe a bit less friction in their daily life. Signal Mountain really functions as more of a self-contained town than a neighborhood. On Lookout Mountain, you don't have a large grocery store up on top of the mountain itself. So every time you want to get groceries, you have to commute all the way down the mountain, get your groceries, and then come all the way back up. That's just for basic necessities. You have to go down the mountain. On Signal Mountain, there are a few pharmacies. There's a local grocery store up there. There are a few restaurants. And so you really do have plenty of options where you can go eat and shop and dine while still being on the mountain without going down the mountain itself. Buyers who purchase on Signal Mountain are really optimizing for a bit more land, a bit more privacy, better access to the outdoors. The outdoors access that you have on Signal Mountain tends to just be a little bit more remote, a little bit more untouched. You can really get out on the trails there or get out in nature there on Signal Mountain and feel like you're disconnecting from the constant source of connection that we have in today's world. So if that's important to you, if that's a priority, then that's something that you're going to get more of on Signal Mountain versus other mountaintop communities in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area. The primary trade-off that you have living on Signal Mountain is the volatility in commute times. There are a couple of main roads that take you up and down the mountain, and those can get quite congested around rush hour or around the school day. So if you are somebody that has a strict 9-to-5 schedule, then this could be something that you're going to need to spend more time evaluating when looking at Signal Mountain. I would say overall, Signal Mountain offers one of the best lifestyle to price ratios in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area, but you do have to be really honest with yourself about commute times and about what you value when it comes to that. The next neighborhood we're going to talk about is Riverview. When people choose to live in Riverview, they're really prioritizing time efficiency and social connection. So for those of you that don't know, right across from downtown Chattanooga is what's known as North Shore. North Shore is kind of the popular name for that area as a whole. Riverview is a small subsection of North Shore that is right around the Chattanooga Golf and Country Club. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Riverview, it is one of the most prestigious neighborhoods in Chattanooga. Directly across the river from downtown Chattanooga, you've got North Shore. North Shore has Coolidge Park, Renaissance Park. There's a bunch of grocery stores and nice restaurants over there. And it's kind of a nice tourist hub without being too tourist centric. Just adjacent to North Shore is the Chattanooga Country Club, and Riverview is the neighborhood directly surrounding the Chattanooga Country Club. It's not a gated neighborhood, but it's a neighborhood that's characterized by having close proximity to the country club and views out over the river. This area is consistently one of the most expensive areas when it comes to price per square foot in the greater Chattanooga area. Now, there are plenty of reasons for this because one, you have that social proximity. Two, you've got a close commute to pretty much everywhere in Chattanooga. You can be anywhere downtown Chattanooga within about 10 minutes. You've got great access to the best restaurants in Chattanooga. You've got access to the river. You've got access to parks. There's so many things to do over there in Riverview. And of course, the Chattanooga Country Club is right there, which is one of the most prestigious golf courses in the area. People that choose Riverview tend to value time as being one of their most important assets, but they also value strong resale potential. The next area we're going to talk about is actually two separate communities. We've got Gorge Ranch and Jasper Highlands. These are both newer master plan developments that really appeal to retirees and remote workers. And I would say that these communities really exist because of one primary catalyst. That is reliable, high-speed fiber optic internet. Both of these areas are becoming increasingly appealing to executives or founders or high-income individuals that don't need to be downtown every single day. Buyers that are buying in both of these communities tend to prioritize bluff views, architecture, custom homes, or well-thought-out high-end spec homes. The homes in these neighborhoods really reflect modern American architecture. They're not contemporary homes, but they do have many features that make them feel modern and fresh. You've got large windows, lots of open space. And the communities that these homes are in prioritize creating a sense of community while also creating space and privacy between the homes. Again, with both of these neighborhoods, the major trade-off is commute predictability. If you live all the way out in Jasper Highlands, you're going to have a significantly longer commute. Gorge Ranch is a little bit closer into downtown Chattanooga, but you still have to rely on the I-24 Moccasin Bend corridor, which can be a bit unpredictable. If you're fully remote, living in one of these communities can feel like a cheat code. But if you require a commute, if you're required to be in town every single day, then this can be a serious decision to weigh. The final neighborhood or area that I'm going to talk about that has seen quite a bit of relocation from higher income individuals is the Black Creek Golf Community. Now, Black Creek has done an excellent job at marketing itself, and what I like about Black Creek is there really is a bit of something for everyone. There is a wide range of price points, so you're not just stuck in the multi-million-dollar range. You can buy something fairly decent in there in the mid $500,000, $600,000 range. Now, there is a completely new phase going into the community where the lots tend to be a bit larger and the homes are also larger. These houses are going to command a premium. The larger lot size being on top of the community, that's definitely going to cost more, and you'll be in the $1 million range there. But what's nice is if you want a master plan community where you can go play golf and where there's a nice community center and where you don't have an extreme commute to downtown Chattanooga, Black Creek could be a great option. I would say that the downside, or maybe this is an upside, is that the HOA there can be quite strict. And so you don't have as much option for customization in Black Creek. So if that's something that matters to you, it might be worth looking somewhere else, maybe where you don't have an HOA, but it also kind of maintains a standard across the neighborhood. So for some people, that's a downside, but then for other people, the structure provided by a clear HOA is what makes this area appealing to them. Ultimately, people who decide to move to Black Creek are betting on certainty. They just want to have a certain commute. They want to be close enough to downtown Chattanooga, and then they want to have a place where they can retreat and potentially enjoy some recreation on the weekends, but not be too far from downtown Chattanooga. If you made it this far in the video, YouTube thinks you might like some of these videos here. I make a lot of content on what it's like to relocate to the greater Chattanooga area, and if you need help finding a home for you, feel free to reach out. I'm licensed in both Tennessee and Georgia, and my mission is to provide world-class real estate service to you. If you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.